Okay. Hello, hello. I think I can. You guys see me okay? I think so. I think I'm on. Okay. Let me know if you're on here, because sometimes I don't know when the actual live goes live. I think so. Anyone here? Can you hear me? Put something in the chat if you can hear me properly. I'm unsure. Yeah. There we go. Hello. Hi. Hey, Star. Good, good, good. Peace. Hey, Teresa. Hey, Rez. Hey, King, Rose, Paras, Scylla, Heather. Hey, Heather. You can hear me? Okay. So peace, everyone. Peace to the east, the west, north, and the south. This is Fleur Boone coming to you today with a message. I'll wait for a few more people to check in. Okay. I hope all is well. Actually, I have something on my tooth. I'm sorry, y'all. I am quite human in that way. Check on in. So, hey, hey, hey. Okay. So, hopefully everything's well. I'm gonna get into the discussion. Maybe I should wait like another couple of seconds or minutes until we get to, maybe I should wait because then I'll have to repeat it. Or should I just start? Wipe the screen. Is the screen not working? Hold on, y'all. Hold on. Let me do that. Hi. Sorry about that. You might be right. Let me do the screen. Is that better? So much better. Is that better? Can you see me better? Yeah? Is that much better? Okay. I think. Hold on. I got all these wipes for my daughter's glasses and I never use them, but I just used it. Hold on. There we go. That should be a lot better. Perfect. Yay. It worked. Okay, so peace to the east, the west, north, and the south. This is Fleur Boone coming to you today. Let me fix the camera. Okay. I hope all is well. Make sure there's some lipstick on my thing. So I have a message from, I had telecommunication from the trees. One particular tree said, Shalom, Yafi, Shalom. Big up to Israel with Yafi. Yafi's in Israel. All right, so I had telecommunication for me to come on last minute. I had a message from them and I wanted to discuss the terrestrial beings that are related to the A's, the A blood type. So the A blood type, you're gonna really enjoy this conversation today because this has a lot to do with you, okay? And there are people who have A's in their family, so it isn't excluding to you. Because again, you can be an O and have an A mama, or you could be a B and have an AB daddy. You know what I mean? It's all interrelated. I don't have a license on my truck, so you don't have to worry about it. I have the New York logo. In New York, you know, I'm a straight New Yorker, so it's all good, but thank you for the warning. I pay attention to little details like that, okay? So let's get into conversation with what's going on with the tree beings, the plant beings. So I'm gonna kind of break. You enjoyed with Nicole Charles from Edgar Casey. I loved her. So anyone who joined my Rumble, you'll see I had a wonderful interview, just impromptu. I was over at the Edgar Casey. Many of you know I have a connection to Edgar Casey from a past life, and And I had an amazing conversation with Reverend Nicole. I loved it. I was in the fairy garden, and actually this kind of connects to that as well. So let's get into the terrestrials, interconnected to the A blood type, A negative or A positive. It doesn't really matter. A's have a very personal and unique connection to the trees and the plant beings. And I've always talked about blood types, specifically the A's having such a strong connection to nature, or rather nature connecting to you. And some of that connection is very organic in that you carry the signature, the DNA structural signatures that are interrelated with the plant beings. Now, when we always talk about extraterrestrials, you'll hear people talk about the grays, the reptilians, you'll talk about the insectoids. We'll talk about the zeta reticulans, the Arcturians, we'll talk about the Lyrians and, the mer beings and what have you. But I want to talk about specifically today, as I had telecommunication from my amazing pine that wanted me to give this message to the A's and to everyone, because again, we aren't excluded from this because A's and O's have a strong connection genetically. A lot of people have A's in the family, so by default, you would have some of this lineage as well. So let's get into the conversation about the tree beings, the plant beings, the terrestrials and extraterrestrials that come from another planetoid. Some are from here, though we're living in a holographic experience we call the Matrix. You can thank Sophia Stewart for that terminology that many people use, without giving acknowledgement that she was actually the being who created that term. As she wrote the book that initiated the movie and many different movies, actually. So big up to Sophia Stewart. So when we're talking about the plant beings, the tree beings, I show a beautiful picture in Brazil. Did you guys get a chance to see the beautiful thumbnail? I love the thumbnail. That's from Brazil. Big up to Brazil. Boa tarde. Tudo bem? Buenas tardes. You know what I mean? Sapase. What else? Konnichiwa. What is it? Jomba, right? Jomba. Shalom. What's another one? Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum. Am I right? So yeah, some terminology. I'm trying to get as much ni hao. I'm trying to be fair across the board because many people here have connection to the plant beings. So let's talk about the connection terrestrial wise and extraterrestrial wise. There was a project at one point when some of the colonizing entities. Now, when I talk about colonizers, I want to make sure you kind of broaden that concept. Colonization isn't only aloha. Colonization isn't only related to beings that are coming from one terrain to another that kind of take it over, and whether they use genocide, forms of missionary work to be able to infiltrate and to try to take over. It isn't always that. Colonization in the way that we've been taught is limited, because really in itself, this particular land, this particular firmament dome has multiple groups that have insected and colonized the mind of the people, and also parts of colonization that we know as today, where we've talked about or we've been taught are really a connection. It really at a smaller, minuscule level is really learned and comes from a more grandiose form of colonization, where there were beings that colonized this planet. Okay, and whenever something or some people or some species colonize, they usually bring a lot of their own species of plants. They'll bring what we would consider to be alien to the terrain, but they'll bring their own species of plants. They'll seed their own from their own homeworlds. They'll bring animal species that are from their homeworlds, like dogs, Dogs from the last cycle supposedly came from the tall Nordics that came through the firmament last time during the last reset. They brought a lot of dogs, which you consider, well, we domesticate them now, but they brought dogs with them, which notably weren't a species that were here naturally to this dome, and they brought that with them. That's why you'll see a lot of people, especially in the bougie kind of, it's kind of, I don't want to say that. A lot of people have dogs and they have a connection to dogs, but really in itself, it's because there was a group of people that brought this species, this type of canine species with them during the last reset. When they came, they jumped domes, okay, from the outer world. Whether they were sentenced here, whether they came here, it doesn't matter. They brought their own things here when they colonized, when they came into this dome. And also, not only did they bring a species of canine, they also brought species of plants. So A negative, a lot of you have some connection genetically to the plant life. Some of you were brought here, and though you were hybrids with some of the humanoid DNA, which is obviously why you look more humanoid bipedal, you have the DNA of the extraterrestrial, the plant life, the tree beings that are outside of this firmament. You have that genetic disposition. So that's why a lot of the trees in nature have a lot of connection to A's, especially A's, because A's are the oldest. And I'm saying when I share this, A's have been here the longest, and whether they came as extraterrestrial, as an extraterrestrial form, they still were here. So when they came here, when they were brought into this particular firmament, they have been here the longest. So A's in itself, whether it's A negative or A positive, you are the OGs of this terrain. You even if a negative is extraterrestrial in the fact that you weren't from this particular terrain, this biosphere, you did come, you were one of the first to come. And, whether it was a scout, you came as a scout, you came as, are you guys there? Okay, I think so. Let me know if you're here, because it kind of cut off. I'm gonna keep talking. I don't know if it stopped for a reason. Okay, I'll just keep going. I can't tell. So if I'm not, okay, you're there. Thank you, Yafi. Let me keep with mindset. I'm gonna give you the message from the trees, but I wanna kind of set up the perimeters of talking about the extraterrestrial and terrestrial plant beings that are here, that many of you share lineage and genetics with. Okay, so the oldest and the first to come here, whether you were terrestrial, you were from this particular inside of this dome, or you were a expat from an outer world, you are an A. So you're the OGs of the life forms here. That's why all of the animals recognize you. That's why you have such a connection to cats and squirrels and birds. They recognize you because you've been here the longest, okay? And talking about the plant life, there were beings here that were trees and plants and had that DNA. And some of you were spliced and diced and hybrid with the humanoid, and you still carry that signature of being interconnected with your tree family, your plant families, okay? That's why you're seeing things like Venus flytraps. You have things that relate to more humanoid type of being, plants, especially you call them more aggressive plants, like the Venus flytrap. Many of you know Little Shop of Horrors. Remember Little Shop of Horrors? Little Shop of Terra. Remember there was a comet that came out of the sky, and then all of a sudden, what was it? What was the plant's name? I know the guy's name was Seymour. What was the plant's name? Lucille? Does anyone remember her name? I forgot the name of the plant. What was the name of the plant that he named the plant? Was it Lucille? I forgot what the name of the plant was. Anyway, okay, so I want to share that particular story because it is a snippet. Audrey, thank you. Audrey too. Audrey too. It's a snippet of the truth that's being directed to you for you to understand and understand that that's connected to specific beings here who have that genetics. Audrey too was vilified in itself, you know, saying that, oh, she ate people, but really in itself, it was a species of plant that was similar and had a consciousness and was sentient and was, it has a lot of DNA resonance with A's, okay? So I would say like Audrey 2 would represent a concept of the genetic connection to those who are A negative. They vilify it, so take away the fact that they made it seem like this plant was eating people, gobbling people up. It was just basically telling you that this plant was extraterrestrial in origin, and it came here and it started to have the eating habits as many humanoids, okay? Meaning that eating flesh. You know, really in itself, be careful with the concept of movie cinematography, which kind of, and also the social engineering that comes with television, which is meant to vilify a specific species of plant beings. So of course they're gonna make it seem like Audrey was some vicious, you know, supernatural fly trap type of plant that was, you know, murderous and, you know, bloodthirsty. It was purposefully geoengineered that way socially so that you would perceive that type of plant and you would interrelate that to anyone who has that genetic disposition, which is A negative. Okay, so that particular plant, Audrey, came from another world and came here, and she basically was a progenitor of many of the different lineage later. But again, this is for the OGs. The OGs are people that are the people that were here the longest, which are the A's, whether it's a negative or a positive. You have the plant DNA, tree DNA, and you are connected, whether you're negative, you're connected to the outer rim, outer worlds, and those who are A positive, you're basically from the terrain that terrestrials that probably lived inside the earth maybe, or lived in the you know, different tiers of, you know, this particular earth plane that we're coexisting in. Okay, so that being said, I want to talk about your connection as positive Ruses and negative Ruses and the A's specifically, but this is connected to everyone. The plant beings are connected to a genetic, to I wouldn't say small, to many people here, because we all mix together. So I can't say it's small because, like I said, you can have an A positive and negative who are mixed with ABs and O's. So I can't really say that for the most part you're separated. I would just say that probably this message is for everyone, but more specifically because the A's hold the strongest connection to the plant beings, whether terrestrial or extraterrestrial or interterrestrials. That's part of your lineage. So many of you remember I did the video on Prometheus, which was the oldest tree in the northern hemisphere. When the colonizers came here, they brought plants, and they brought some of their extraterrestrial plants, and those plants weren't limited, like, I don't know, like grew, you know, the movie, what is the movie? It's with what's the movie, oh gosh, you know the movie with Gru? What's the name of the movie? Guardians of the Galaxy. Thank you, Dennis, the Menace. Guardians of the Galaxy. So Guardians of the Galaxy kind of speaks to those beings, you know what I mean? So, you know, it's interesting that there isn't anyone who talks about the extraterrestrial plant beings that are here. And the reason why, when the colonizers brought from other worlds, outer worlds, brought their extraterrestrial plant beings here, that they lived in their own tribes. They had their own tribe system. They utilized their roots to be able to interconnect to other tribes on the outer rims of the terrain. They were able to interface with the humans. Many of the first primitive humans were living in the trees and had a symbiotic relationship with the trees and had agreements and treaties that protected those trees and vice versa of those people as well. Whenever they fought and had wars, the trees and plants were participants in those wars. Okay, so Groot and Audrey too, from, you know, I would consider Groot and Audrey too to be their subliminal way of telling you that there are beings here who are plant beings that have sentient or that have consciousness that many of you have forgotten, and because of the wars and the future, the most recent colonization of hostile beings who knew of these terrestrial and extraterrestrial plants, they were killing off a lot of the older matriarchal plant life, whether they were extraterrestrial or terrestrial. I can't really verify vice versa, because even with the extraterrestrial plants that came here, like an Audrey 2 or a Groot, they started to merge and created many different bonds with our terrestrial trees and plants here. Okay, so in and itself, there became a wonderful connection. Like, there wasn't a hostility between the plants that came extraterrestrial or the plants that were terrestrial based, meaning that the ones that were born here and came here genetically, and the ones who came from above or beyond the ice wall or beyond the firmament. Okay, when the most recent colonizers came, they were aware of these types of plant beings and tree beings. So what they decided to do is start to kill and murder them. They knew it, and when they started to do mass murder, like the mass burnings and killing of trees, is purposefully done because they're aware. Not all trees have sentient. Now remember, they're genetically modified trees that are made to look like the others, but the trees from the old world and from the outer worlds were all sentient and conscious, meaning they were able to move and uproot themselves. They were able to protect themselves if there was any outside threat. And also they were interconnected to many of the different tribes. So there were treaties and agreements, and there was this kind of, like I said, a symbiotic relationship between the trees and the plants. And remember, I'm not just limited to trees. Groot would be like a tree, and Audrey too would be a plant being. Like the grass blades. I mean, there were multiple groups of plant types of extraterrestrials and terrestrials that were conscious and aware and were working and symbiotic with the groups of humanoids that they were living amongst, and animals. Okay, so when the newest colonizers came, they were aware of the protection of many of these tribes with these tree beings, and they purposefully and consequential they systematically began to destroy and kill a lot of the elder matriarchs of those tree lineages to disallow for any sort of, you know, protection. And remember, trees live for thousands of years. We're talking about, you know, a matriarch, because usually within the tree kingdom or even within the plant kingdom, this is a hierarchy, just like in the human genome and also animal kingdom. There's a hierarchy, and within that hierarchy, the grand matriarchy usually lives the longest, and she's in charge of new seedlings and distributing the roles that they play within this plant kingdom. Okay. During the time when the newest colonizers came, they started to kill off the oldest of these matriarchy trees. And what it did is it lessened the ability for the trees to be able to source old information, to be able to protect themselves. And also what they did is they usually seeded a genetically homogenized tree to be able to infiltrate the roots and to infiltrate the genealogy, to make those trees now become less conscious and less symbiotic with their source tree, with their oldest trees. So that being said, is that I know it's a lot of information. Hopefully I have you there, because I'm going off the rim, so I'm trying to kind of source everything together to give you an idea. So trees in themselves here, not all trees here are conscious or sentient, okay? The trees that they brought later after they killed off many of the old matriarchal trees, the older trees, they started to bring in trees that were kind of dumbed down, okay? Plants that literally would destroy the consciousness of the trees. And also with the colonization of the trees and the gentrification, bringing in other trees that were homogenized, they did the same with the humans. They basically made the humans, they basically destroyed the connection that humans had with their tree families. We used to live in the jungle with the trees. We used to climb in the jungle. We used to sleep in the trees. The trees protected us and we protected the trees. When we sourced things, the trees told us more. The highest and oldest trees were able, through their root system, to tell us if the enemies were coming, and I'm talking about thousands of miles away, hundreds of miles away. We would get warnings. So we would know how to prepare with any sort of attack. But because these colonizers were aware of this connection that we had with our tree family, they decided to attack the trees. And with attacking our beautiful grandmother trees, they were able to infiltrate and to totally destroy the connection that we had. They started to destroy the villages and the native indigenous tribe bases, and they were starting to utilize forms of coercion by making it seem like, hey, you know, come into town, you know, you're living like primitives. You know, this whole thing of calling us savages and calling us animals for living in nature, they started to vilify us in our natural villages and our tribes, and bring out the allurement of these cities where they felt they would try to propagate and promote, you know, this system of city life as if it was more attractive to lure our young people out into the cities. And once they went into the cities and started to be educated, which was basically a form of indoctrination, they destroyed the memories and the connection we had with our mother trees and our plant being families, and that inevitably destroyed the telepathic connection we had with our plant-based source. Why is this an important message? Is because right now, the pine tree had explained to me that it is starting to happen again. They've been able to hide themselves. A lot of the sentient trees and plants were trying to cloak themselves and hide themselves amongst the hybrid trees, the less conscious trees, the ones that are just basically like just petrified, you know, pieces of bark that were made to look like them. But now that these colonizing bastards, the Willy Wonka systems, they know that we're starting to go and connect to our tree family again, and the telepathic messages that we can interrelate. Like I could send a message, and I've done it before. I've sent a message to my trees and all the way thousands of miles away through my tree that I was talking to telepathically here. So if I talked to my pine tree and told her my concerns about the other trees that I had connection with, or they can go through the lines underneath the ground like a telephone line. That's where we got the whole concept of phones, is through the trees, because they communicate through their root system, and their root system runs so deep and so it's so intricate that those messages could be sent within like minutes, thousands of miles away. And they knew this, so they wanted to disconnect, and they also wanted to find those few trees that were still the trees from the original bloodlines, the original you know, because they have chlorophyll. Chlorophyll is their form of blood, their bloodline. They wanted to make sure they cut off all the telecommunication that some of us were having. We were starting to connect back to our tree family, and the few that were sentient were able to source with us, and we were starting to start to bridge the gap between our disconnection that was purposefully done by the Willy Wonka systems. And because of that, they decided to start to smoke them out. That's where all these controlled burnings are. The controlled burnings is just they're telling you they're doing it for some other reason. The reason why they're doing controlled burning is they're trying to find the sentient trees that are coexisting, and they're trying to get rid of them. That's why you'll see videos of trees moving and you'll say, oh my God, is that real? Yes, they move. They're, if you watch the Chronicles of Narnia, remember when they went to war, the trees went to battle with them. The animals went to battle with them. So they're destroying all of the trees, the few that are sentient. So my pine tree that I've become friends with had just wanted me to discuss with you so that some of you would start to remember and connect back with telepathically your connection to them. There are still few that are still here that are hiding, and hopefully some of them will remain safe. They murdered my tree at my house that I lived in Florida purposefully because they knew how powerful she was. They murdered her, and they murdered all of her babies and all of the other trees that I had telecommunication with. These bastards are demons, they're devils. They know how to destroy our connection, and just purposefully by even creating the monetary system of paper and having us write on paper and using the skins of our ancestors, the tree family, and using that as a form of commerce and exchange. That was the most demonic thing they could have possibly did. The fact that they have us using papers to put knowledge on when all knowledge was telepathically interrelated with our goddess and mother trees. It was a form of defilement meant to see, dirty us up with the blood of those beautiful ancestors. So just in itself, this whole concept of digital currency, for that reason, I wouldn't be against disallowing or kind of taking away the exchange from paper to something else. You know what I mean? It's absolutely disgusting how many of the homes were built just like the children that get killed. They would make shoes from those children, and people in these dark cabals would walk around with a sense of superiority and just defilement, walking around with the shoes of the children that were murdered. And that's where the whole concept of red bottom shoes come from. But the same thing goes with the trees. We didn't make our homes of wood. We lived in the trees. We lived inside of the trees. We lived on the trees. We were part of them. Our villages and our homes and our homesteads were all with them. And the fact that they came here and colonized all of our indigenous groups and brought their savage, disgusting, depraved way of killing and murdering, and then basically utilizing their skins and their flesh to do their exchanges with. It is absolutely horrific. But now it's a new day. And if you know better, you do better, right? So I wanted to give this message. Oh, it makes me want to cry. I'm not going to cry. I wanted to give this message and say that our tree family, A's, especially A's, many of you, I want you to start to remember. I want you to start to remember your connection to them. And it's not just the trees, it's the plants, it's the vines, it's everything. You're the oldest here. Whether you're interterrestrial, extraterrestrial, or terrestrial, you have the longest relationship with our tree family. They are calling for you to really make a connection to them. They're trying to destroy them all. They're trying to find a couple of the elder trees that are hiding, and hopefully they aren't going to find them. Some of our elder trees are in Brazil, and Brazil, because they are being ran by a nefarious group that is now under a tyrannical governmental system, they're trying to destroy the elder trees. They're trying to find them so that they can kill them off. So I really hope that in Africa, we have a lot of the bomba trees that are still there, that aren't being destroyed as much. And it's very important. I want you to remember, because even I want to give you the connection that they tell you the truth. They have to tell you. I want to tell you that, like even in Black Panther, how did you go into the underworld? You went through the purple plant, right? They tell you, you went through the purple plant. They even demonized the people, like with our brown and copper skin, the color of bark. They started to call the natives like animals and savages because our skin was the color of the bark of the trees. The reason why people of color have the beautiful coily hair is because it's like in the trees. I put in the actual pin picture, a picture of a wonderful mural that was in Brazil. Big up to all my Brazil family. It shows a beautiful copper skinned girl, the color of skin of the trees, the bark itself, and her hair purple like the flowers, and her hair coily and going up to the sky. That is purposeful hair. She is part of the tree lineage. Part of that is coming with this amazing hair that literally feeds off of the sun and basically feeds you through the process of I was going to say parthenogenesis, not parthenogenesis. It's it basically feeds you, builds your system, and allows you to utilize the sun as like a solar panel and take that in and create energy with it. And many of you who are a little thicker, photosynthesis, thank you, Nina. Photosynthesis. Many of you who are a little thicker, you think that it's because you're eating certain things. We weren't eating like that. We didn't need to eat. The sun was food. Even the sun simulator was a form of food. You got all of your nutrients from the sun. Your hair coiled and curly was going up to the sky like the trees. And you were taking that in, sourcing it in, and creating a wonderful system of regeneration and nourishment. They stopped the connection. They made you hate your hair, your coily, curly hair. Curly hair has a purpose for y'all. It is coils. Your skin looking like the bark of a tree was, you were called, like, they were making you seem like your dark skin looked like poop. They would make it seem like you were a primate, but really the color of your skin was the color of all bark and all branches. Why would you vilify yourself and connect yourself to a colonizing mindset of a colonizing entity that came to this planetoid that we're all coexisting on? They were colonizers that came to the different land masses. They knew that you were connected to the trees. They knew that you had the genetic base of the trees. They purposefully did that. They wanted to destroy your connection to your family. The trees are calling out. They need us. We've abandoned them. We've abandoned them. We've abandoned them. We've neglected our responsibility to our lineage. We've forgotten who we were. We started to destroy our concept of what nature was. They have all of this genetically homogenized nature, and it's not us. That a lot of the plants and stuff are purposefully created, and they aren't natural. They're killing our trees. They murdered my tree, y'all, at my home. After I left my home, they murdered her. They are killing them. When are we going to wake up? You think that the only invasion is happening through these people coming in, these migrants? It's deeper than that. The invasion is happening because we are allowing them to destroy There would be, back in the days, there would be women chained to a tree that would disallow them from destroying and killing our mothers. When are we going to stand up? They protect us and we protect them. There isn't any reason why we should allow this to occur this long. It's time for standing up for ourselves and interconnecting with our family. I mean, just in itself, they're crying out to us. I was standing outside and the beautiful pine was just telling me, tell them, share with them, remind them of their connection, of their responsibility, of their commitment to the old treaties that we had. These bastards are killing off our family members, not only through the Kukarachi kill shot, but they're doing it by burning up all the older trees. That's our information. You talk about the Akashic records, you know that's represented by a tree, right? If you look at Avatar, Iwa, they destroyed the tree, they bombed the tree. The tree of truth, the tree of life, the tree is inside of us. When they hurt her, they hurt us. You have to remind yourself and wake up, because these bastards are trying to make sure they incinerate as many of the old lineage that we have are connected to the trees. They did it to me recently with my tree. They're going to do it to all of them if we allow it. If you weren't to stand up for anything, you should stand up for yourself and then stand up for them. There isn't many now. These disgusting insectoid dark Kabbalists that made us create homes of the bones of our family members. Every time you were writing on paper, they were basically like mocking us with our lack of awareness. F them. When is it that we should connect? The trees of Africa can only communicate as much as they can with our trees here in the Americas, because they're killing off all of the communication. A lot of times they try to make sure the roots of the trees aren't able to get far enough to be able to relay the messages that we need to go to our elders in other land masses. It's time for you as mothers and fathers to take your children to the trees. When have you forgotten? And then I hear all these people saying, oh, I'm native. But if you're native and you're indigenous to this landmass, where is your responsibility? Where have you done your part to protect the mothers, the matriarchy, the ones with the information, and those who protected our grandmothers and grandfathers? It is your responsibility. Your sleepiness is not an excuse. You know now. We have to start to begin to connect telepathically and to the trees. They're calling for us. It is like the war, like in the book of Narnia. It is the war that is here. We are in war. This is a war. It is a war of principalities. It is a war that is going into the ether, but it is a physical war as well. It is our responsibility as the mothers to create and to redefine and remind ourselves of those old ways and that old connection we had to the divine mothers of the tree and plant kingdom. We utilize plants. We basically destroy. You just want to smoke a plant. You don't want to have a connection to the plant. They've made it so that people think that plants are only for usage of eating, consuming, and taking for drug purposes. That is why with the marijuana plant, they only utilize the female and you smoke her and you destroy her and you've pimped her out and you've basically made her into a prostitute. That plant was extraterrestrial. She had a connection to the divine galactic center. Why would you then think she is only purposeful for you to destroy her and smoke her and basically prostitute her as only a drug source? It's time. It's time for us to stand up for something. You say that you care and you're part of nature and you want to eat natural and you want to be kin to nature again, but where is your responsibility? Why in your neighborhood are they able to create a whole complex and kill every tree? You do know there's ways to extract trees humanely and without killing them. They're killing our mother trees. They murdered my tree. Every time they murder one of our OGs, these wonderful plant and tree family, it breaks us. It breaks a piece of us. Our heart gets broken whether you know it or not. Stop utilizing your plants as like prostitutes. Know that every plant life has some form of consciousness. Ask for permission to be able to engage with them. Our babies depend on this. There will be no world if they are going to kill all of our sentient trees. It will be a world of bioborgs and syntheticas if we allow them to kill the last of our few sentient OG trees. They are burning them all, y'all. They're going into the deepest, darkest forests, the redwoods of California. They're going into the jungle of Brazil. They're going into Peru. They're going into Canada and burning out all of the major trees. They're doing it purposefully. They're trying to, it's like a witch hunt, but it's basically a wood hunt. They can only do so much. So you say to Flirtbone, okay, Flirtbone, you give us this heavy heart. You give us this heavy information. What can we do? We have to start to connect our heart to them. We have to begin to create that connection once again. It isn't the end, but it is necessary for us to acknowledge the connection. That's why I'm calling for the A's. You have the oldest lineage. Whether you came here from another world or you're from here, you have the oldest lineage. You have the ability to telecommunicate with them and really find ways to disallow these bastards from hurting them anymore. They're smoking them out. And they're going to try to destroy and burn up as many forests and jungles as possible to try to find the ones that are conscious. It's not all of them. They basically are hiding amongst those or the other trees that they know aren't living. But they can't find them because they look like the other trees. So what they're going to do is burn them until they see any of them move, and then they try to destroy them and kill them. It isn't too late. We're in a war, y'all. The war has began, and the war is not just the war is not just the way that we perceive it. Oh, like Willy Wonka. It's a war against everything that we hold true and dear to our hearts. Do you know that those trees host ecosystems of plants that depend on them to protect them? Animals that live in those trees, birds that birth their babies generation after generation, squirrels and insects that are symbiotic with our whole ecosystem. Those trees are so much more than anything that you can imagine. I'm asking that we start to begin rather to make an exodus, maybe back to our tree family. Go back into the forest. You know, they basically, and I also know now that these bastards, the reason why they put all these skinwalkers and these type of bioengineered hybrids that they created in laboratories and set them loose in these national parks. I know why they did that. Because they didn't want us going in there and finding refuge again. So they basically put all these weaponized hybrids all in the forest, all inside of the parks, so that we would be deterred to going back there. It was like putting the boogeyman there so we won't go back home. But they're victims as well, those cryptids, those hybrids, those non-natural life forms. They were created with such demonic intention. They were purposefully created to keep us out of to keep us out of those forests. It's time. I mean, if you're gonna live for something, I mean, if you're gonna die for something, make it something worth it. I think instead of us trying to run away from nature, we need to start to envelop ourselves. From those who are the mer people, you got to go back to the water. That's why they're vilifying the water. They're letting loose all this Fukushima radiation. They're trying to disconnect us, the elementals, from going back into places that gave us refuge and peace and protection and healthiness. I'm calling for the MERS, those who are connected to the water world, to start to go back to the waters. I'm calling for those who are connected to the plant kingdom, from the plants and the trees. I need you to start to make a plan to go back to nature. The only protection we have is together. They keep us apart purposefully because it's easier to pick us off if we aren't connected. The trees protected us, y'all. There wasn't anything that would mess with the trees. You know that, right? They were afraid. These colonizers were afraid to go in the forest. They couldn't go there. They were afraid because the trees would take them out. The waterways, they weren't going there. Even now when they go into the oceans, the sharks kill them. The whales attack them. Have you seen lately when some of these people try to go in the water? The plants will attack them, and the trees. They know what these unnatural entities are. They know what these beings are. They're aware of them. It isn't, once they murdered my tree, they murdered her. They couldn't wait for me to leave, and they made sure they sent me pictures showing her murdered. They're mocking us, showing us how weak we are because we put so much emphasis on materialism. We would prefer to have a flat screen TV and all this artificial intelligence in our house, which is killing us. All of this technology is killing us. If you go into a forest, the technology doesn't even work. That's why they're building all these fake towers that look like trees to trick the trees and also to trick us. You go into a forest, your phones don't work. You go into a boat, their phones don't work. You aren't being killed in microwave when you're on the waterways. You aren't being killed in microwave when you're in the midst of a forest and a jungle. They put all the drug dealers in the jungle. Do you think they did that purposefully? In the jungles of Brazil and Colombia, all of the drug dealers live in there. It is purposefully done to keep us out of our homes, to keep us disconnected from our plant family. It's to put a wedge between us. The cryptids, the skinwalkers, all of these hybrid types of entities that they created in a lab to keep us out of the forest. Then they put all of this crazy drug dealers, put all of the cartel in the jungles so you aren't able to go in there with peace. Fuck them. Sorry, y'all. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to curse. No, I did mean to curse. Fuck them. I apologize. That's coming from my heart. It's time. What are we going to do? Be fearful all the time? I cried for so many weeks when I saw they killed my tree. This was a tree that protected me and my family. This was a tree that made sure that when people were trying to hurt us, they couldn't do it. I had such a bond with her, and they murdered her. They murdered her without thinking and caring. She protected my babies. They're hurting our planet. They're killing off our trees. The trees don't have anyone else but us. We're so miserable without them. That we need them, and they need us, and we can't stop. They made us hate ourselves. They made us hate us looking like the trees. They made us hate our hair that talked to the energies like the trees. They're evil. They're evil and they're psychopaths. And if we don't do anything, it's going to be the end. We have to stop being afraid, because all we're going to do is live and die in fear. We can't do that anymore. We have to stand up for something. We have to fight. All this time I say, I want to run everywhere. I want to do everything. But yeah, what are we going to do? Are we going to keep running? We can't. We have to fight. We have to do it for our children, for our future. They're destroying them. They're destroying all of nature. They're burning up all the trees. The baby trees don't even have a chance. You are the trees. You connect to the trees. You don't even realize they talk to you and you ignore them. You can't ignore them anymore. You can't ignore their cries because there are cries. I'm sorry. When I saw what they did to my beautiful tree, she didn't deserve that. I don't care if you hate me. I don't care if you think that this is ridiculous. They're destroying everything. Everything. The animals don't have refuge anymore. The baby squirrels can't even protect their babies. The birds can't have their babies be safe in the trees anymore. We can't. They're destroying our water. The dolphins are being destroyed. They're destroying everything. We can't let this happen. We sit around and we're idle. It doesn't matter anymore. It won't matter if we don't have anything left. I look at the trees and I feel so vulnerable because I want to help them. And they made every sort of law. We have to come as a unit and we have to go to them. We have to go back into the forest. We have to find them again. We have to go to them. We have to go back into the waterways. We have to do this. This is a war. It's a war of principalities, but they know that we're weak because we're separated. We're so concerned with like materialism and fuck the cell phones. Fuck all the technology. It won't matter if we don't have them. It's too long. Where are our shamans? Where are our spiritualists? Where are our voodooists? Sit together. Make circles. I'm so sorry. I'm just so destroyed. I think every day, okay, I'm one person. But if we're many of us, we talk about, everyone said, where we go. And I think to myself, okay, you could go here and here, but what does it matter? We have to do something. We can't allow this to happen. We can't live inside of caves and have nothing. What are we going to do? Have our cell phones? I don't care about the cell phone. If I never had another cell phone again, I don't care. I want to live with nature. I want them to be peaceful. I want them to have peace. I want them to know that I have their back. I want my babies to grow up and have grandbabies that are safe in the forest and in the jungle. We can't even go into the jungle because everybody wants to do drugs. They're using our jungle as a drug facility. And they make it seem like that all we are drug addicts. And I tell you all the time, it's not that I'm attacking you on the drugs, but that's what's destroying our forests and our jungles. Because everybody wants to get high. Everyone wants to do ayahuasca. Do you realize what it's doing to our plants? Just to give you ayahuasca, just to give you all the drugs that you want, they destroy them. We are giving them the resources to do this. When you pay for that, you pay to destroy that plant. When you go and smoke marijuana, do you think about the female plants that are being destroyed? That are grown just for prostituting so you can smoke it up. What responsibility do you have? How much longer are we going to sit here and allow it? We won't be able to have children that are healthy. All right, y'all. I gotta go. I'm distraught. It's too much. It's too emotional. It's too connected. I think about everything every day, and it's just so sad. It's so sad. And yeah, call me a punk. I could be weak, but this is so sad. What are we gonna do? We have to get the witches together. We have to get our wizards together. We have to do something. We can't sit like this. We can't be afraid anymore. It's too much. They're creating everything. They're destroying everything that we love. What about the Bambis? What about the deers? What about the birds? What about the bees? Those are things that we need to create this beautiful ecosystem so we can breathe. What are we supposed to do? We have to unite. It's like that movie Avatar. It's like everything has to come together. I mean, what's the point? Where we're going to live in like destitute and go into these smart cities and live in like this geo-engineered box so we can just be like over in China when they destroyed everything and these people but they don't have any oxygen to breathe. What are we supposed to do? We have to go to the waters. We have to go to the trees. We have to go to the jungles. You have people passing through the jungles and bringing this despair and this sadness. The Durian Strait, when they come here to do their exodus to the United States. Do you know how much sadness the trees are feeling when they witness all of these children being hurt? People, women being raped. Do you know the sadness they feel? They feel as helpless as we do. But if we unite with them, we wouldn't be helpless. We'd be stronger. We'd be stronger. Climb up in the trees. What happened to the tree houses? We don't even do that anymore. Remember, we used to live in the trees, even with our children. We had tree houses. The children used to climb up in the trees. It was such a beautiful thing. We were trying to remember. We have to go into the jungle. We have to go into the water. And I'm calling for you. I want you to remember. I want you to remember. It shouldn't be in vain. I'm not perfect. I'm not going to make a difference by myself. I can't, but we have to do it as a collective. It doesn't matter what complexion you are. It doesn't matter what nationality, what tongue you speak. We have to do it as a collective. Go into the jungle. The cryptids are just, they're victims of the homogenizing of the governments. The governments created them. They created these entities and they destroyed those beings. They created them and they made them into horrific monsters. They don't want to be like that either. They feed off of life because that's all they know. We have to sit collectively. The Haitians did it. At one point, the Haitians are being destroyed because they did this. They took command and they've been destroyed ever since. The Haitian people are being destroyed because they fought against these nasty bastards. They fought against them and they won. And that's why they destroy them, and everybody talks so negatively about them. They talk about the Haitians like they're dogs. And these people fought. And they fought these monsters and they won. And they destroy that place. They destroy them, and they don't want you mixing with them because they don't want you remembering in yourselves the fight. Stop talking about the Haitians. They fought, and those are the people we need to align with. They fought, so they have the memories inside of them. We need to unite with those people and protect them because they have the memory of the win. Okay, hold on, y'all. I'm sorry. I'm just so emotional. I don't want to get you emotional today. Hold on. Let me close I'm coming right back. Let me close up and just fix up a little bit. Hold on. I'll be right back. Okay. All right. I'm back. I had a little meltdown. Let me know if you can see me. I apologize. I'm so emotional. Let me know if you can see me. Put a 13 when you can actually see me. Put a 13 if you can see me. Can you see me? Hello? Can you guys see me? I'm back. Yes, you can? Okay, I'm sorry. I don't want to get you emotional because I'm emotional. And I want to be, I'm sorry. I just sometimes, yeah, I just fix myself up a little bit so I don't look like a blubbering crybaby. I apologize. I don't want to come on like that, but it was too much. It was too much. Especially, I think about the tree, and many of you know for years I lived in the same home and they couldn't wait for me to leave to kill my tree. She was like my mother. She was like my grandmother. She protected me and my girls because, you know, the Willy Wonka was sending like all these people to our house, and she protected me, and she did it so effortlessly, and she was so magnificent. And it just, to me, it destroys. And I thought to myself today, the pine was talking to me, and I'm sitting outside, and I'm like, and I'm listening, and I'm like, where are we gonna run to? Like, every time I think is like, when people come to me, it's like, oh, the Exodus, but where are we gonna run to? Like, how far and how much running can we do? How much running can I tell people to do when everything that we are, that we love, and that's sacred is being destroyed? I thought about it like the first time I went to Brazil, and I was in Brazil, and I was like, and I was talking to one of the sea stars who I went with, Paula, and she was like, I was like, I'm so excited to get into the jungle. You know, I'm excited to go back to the jungle where my people came from. And she said, you don't want to go in the jungle. And I was like, what? She's like, you don't want to go in the jungle. All the drug dealers are in the jungle. All the cartels in the jungle. Those are the bad people in the jungle. They kill people. They behead women. They rape women. They kill children. They traffic in there. You don't want to go in the jungle. I said, what? Can you imagine hearing that? My whole life, I knew where my people came from. I knew that I was one day going to go back and bring my babies with me to the jungle. I was going to go back, and I was so excited. Could you imagine the feeling in my heart when she said that to me? And she's nothing wrong with her saying, because it was the truth, but my heart, you telling me I can't go back to the jungle? I've been called a jungle chick, right? I've been called an animal, a savage, because I look like a tree. I look like the jungle people. I'm connected to my people. My jungle people are from the jungle. Like, I couldn't believe that someone was telling me I can't go in there because it wasn't safe. You don't want to bring your babies in there because all of the men in there are killing babies and hurting people and trafficking the drug. Do you understand? The cartels are ruling your life. We allow these beings to come and take over, and the only reason they're allowed to do it is because we do nothing. We do nothing. You think there's that many cartel? We do nothing. And I don't even think the cartel even know what's going on. I think they're another victim of the circumstances of this geoengineered world that we live in. Their victim is so well, and I know people don't want to think of cartels victims, but these are people's sons. Do you know that beautiful abuela who raised that little boy, that's her son, that's her grandson. They aren't just entities that do these heinous things, hurt people. Where did they come from? You think in beautiful Mexico and Colombia and Brazil, the most beautiful place, you think these little boys weren't once someone's son, someone's grandson who some abuela and mommy loved, whose father loved them? Where was their turn? Where was their turn to do such heinous things? What created those people? I always say, like, you know, I'm judgmental sometimes, but my mother used to say, well, those are someone's child too. Listen to what my mother says. So she say, you know, I said, mommy, he's like a piece of crap. Like, he's so dirty, he's terrible. But whose son is that? That's somebody's son. That was someone's child. What would make a person do that? Such poverty, the incentivizing of the United States, creating a whole wave of like monetary, so that these poor people only had a way to create money for their families by selling drugs. So when we talk about them, we got to be careful, because that's someone's son. These are they may be doing heinous things, but when did those boys take a turn? Did they have the love and support? Were their parents killed off? Were they being incentivized to do those things because they couldn't support their families? Every man that does heinous things, that's someone's son. That's someone's baby boy. When I gave birth to my babies, oh my God, like the love in my eyes, my body. When I saw my babies for the first time, the love in my whole world, like just everything changed. Just from me being a person to me being now a mother. Those boys were one time somebody's mother. Somebody birthed those little boys and had joy when she saw her son. The first time she saw that little boy, that's a cartel, that's selling drugs, that's murdering other people. The first time he was seen and he was loved. Where did it change? Perhaps we need to rethink how we enter into this world of like reemergence, like of like taking back our forest and jungle. It's important for us to remember that everyone we engage with, whether they hate us or not, whether they're disgusting or not, that used to be someone's child. When they were born, there was a mother who anticipated and a father anticipated their arrival. When it changed, you don't know. Circumstances of being deprived, neglected, anything could have changed them. We're gonna have to fight, y'all. I didn't want to have to fight. But when I look at the trees, like, what am I gonna do? I have children. I can't wait for men to fight for us because I have babies. Those babies are gonna have beautiful babies one day. What am I gonna do? Just sit idly and run everywhere? I'm gonna run to the same thing. When I go to the jungles in Brazil, I have to run to the same thing. If I run into the Americas and whether I'm in Georgia or I run to somewhere in North Carolina, Florida, Texas, California, I would have to face the same thing. We have to stand for something or we just won't make it. It won't even matter if we got to live in a world of tyranny because we don't have trees anymore. We don't have any connection to nature. These bastards are killing everything. We have to. I'm asking for the witches and the warlocks and the Santerians and the Eurobist and the Obiist and the Jongajeans and the Celtics. I'm asking for your help. I'm asking for us to I don't care if we have issues with lineage or so on. Do we want a better life for our children or for our grandchildren? Yes. All of us do. It doesn't matter if you hate me, you don't like the way I say things, you don't like the way my breasts show up. It doesn't matter. We all have a common interest. We all have a common interest. Whether we like each other or not, we all have a common interest. We have a common enemy. And this being is AI based and he is basically causing wreck on this entire holographic expression. If we run away to alone, it doesn't matter because they win. They're afraid of the camaraderie. They're afraid of us coming together. I mean, you think about it itself. A redneck who hates everybody, he's in fear. A brown guy in the hood who's basically doing crazy things because he's in fear. Those were all someone's son. The trees are asking for our help, y'all. And with them, we stand stronger. I mean, there's only as much as we can do. So I just say this all to say, I don't want to cry because it makes the video really sad. I want you to be, I don't want you to be sad. I want you to be empowered. And don't take my sadness because sometimes I can be a bit of like, I'm emotional sometimes. If I'm talking about something that I'm connected to, I get emotional. And it's rare as a Sag, I get emotional, but when I do, I get emotional. We have to stand and fight. And our fight doesn't have to necessarily be physical. It can definitely be spiritual because everything in spiritual ends up trickling down into physicality. We have to fight. If we keep running, I thought about it. I was like, oh yeah, I'll leave. I'll leave and go somewhere else. Where am I going to? because I'm not able to go straight into the jungle, right? So I'm going to end up fighting them too and lose. So I have to work with what I know and where I have my greatest strength. And that's within this, my heart. And my heart is pure because I have babies that I have to protect, and I want them to have an amazing life. And you have babies that you love, and you have connection to your family. So you have the same sort of feeling in your heart. It doesn't matter if you're pissed off or you work a bad job. It doesn't matter if you want to, we all have a common feeling, a common goal, like something in our heart that tells us we're going to have to do something. Because they're bringing the noise, and they bring the most artificial type of beings towards us because they know that we're frightened. They know that we haven't in our heart together as a collective. So they know that we're kind of separated in that way. Everyone has a common goal though. All of you, I don't care if your name is Stacy, you are a mother or not, you have people in your life that you love. You have little ones that you want to be here to live and breathe and be safe. I don't care if your name is Tommy and you hate the way I look. You too have a goal in mind to protect your family and your children from these dastardly beings, and you want your babies and your nieces and your nephews to be safe. I don't care if your name is Tyrone and you yourself know in your heart that living somewhere where it's unsafe, it makes you feel unsavory. It makes you feel vulnerable. You want those babies, your nephews and your nieces, safe. Keisha, you know how you feel. It doesn't matter if you hate Tim or Stacy, but you know that they have a same common goal in their heart to want to protect your babies and your nephews and nieces and your grandchildren. It's a common thing we all have. What would make us choose artificial intelligence over nature? What has artificial intelligence done for us lately? Yeah, the artificial intelligence is the reason why everyone is sick right now with tons of radiation poisoning. What does technology do? They're spraying nanotechnology all over everyone, to the point where people are so sick and they can't even get a deep breath because who's allowing this? You know there's not many of them, right? You know there's only a few of these bastards. There's like a handful of them. There isn't enough of them. The reason why they get away with this is because they only get away with it because they keep us constantly distracted and adverse to one another. Oh, I don't like him. And I participate. So I am just as much to blame. Listen, y'all, I'm not speaking from the pulpit. I'm speaking from the choir. I'm just as much to blame when sometimes I pull in the judgment or separation. I'm just as much to blame. So I don't say that I'm not an active participant in the downfall of what's going on. I am a participant because I perpetuate sometimes messages that separate people because of frustration, of vulnerability, of insecurity, what have you. But I'm saying here now in this message, my purest intention, just my purest intention, regardless if you like me or not, is to come here and to relay a message from our tree family and to see if we can come together as a collective against a very few. We have all the tools necessary to overcome these bastards, but we definitely have to take away from the distraction and the separation, because our common goals of wanting safety, happiness, and joy for our families and ourselves should prioritize and overcome the need for separation. I won't be running from them any longer, because if I live or die, I will make sure that if I leave this earth plane, I will leave it for a beautiful place for my children and your children. So if I'm going to have to battle, I'm going to make sure it isn't in vain. I'm going to make sure that I leave it so that all of our babies can feel safe, that they don't have to feel like someone's going to snatch them and harvest their organs, so that we can have a planet where the animals feel like their home is their home. We have to do this. I'm a participant now. I'm sorry if I ever made you feel like I'm a separatist. I'm down with doing something as a collective. I'm open and receptive to being in the fight. If I leave this stratosphere, I promise you that I will make sure that everything in my soul, my being in this physical body, as much as I have left, I will make sure that if I leave this planet, this particular hologram, I'm leaving it in a beautiful place and space for our children. That I can make assurance of. I don't care what your children look like. I don't care what language you speak. I don't care what religious background you have. As long as you're here for the peace and the betterment of all children, animals, and families, I'm in. I'm tired. I'm tired of thinking and overthinking places to go that are safe, because those places that are safe aren't really safe. There isn't anywhere safe because these bastards are out of control. They're dirtying everything. Everything. Everywhere that we go, everything that we do. I don't care if I go into South America, I go into Africa. These bastards are all over. This is a global, we're in a firmament. We're in a dome. So these bastards are in the dome with us. We got to smoke them out. I mean, what we going to do? I'm ready for it. And maybe that's why I chose to come in an incarnation with so much fire in me, because maybe the first Sagittarius would have fallen. The second one darn near didn't make it, but the third one got all the smoke. We have to do it. So if you have a collection of witches, you have to do something and sit into the forest, because remember, they're here. They can't let themselves be known because Willy Wonka's trying to kill them all off the trees. The ones that have the ability to interface with us. Them, they know. They can see your signature, your auric signature, so they already know your intent. You don't really have to even make an announcement. When you step up in the forest, they know who you are. No words physically need to be exchanged. It's all here. We need to start having healing circles in the forests and the jungles, regardless of who's there. I know it's scary. I'm gonna make the first move and step. It has to happen. Numbers are everything. It doesn't matter if there's cryptids in there or anything, because the cryptids themselves are victims of the Willy Wonka hybrid program. Do you think those cryptids want to be living like that? Maybe they do. They're apex predators. But do you know that their creation was a diabolical, a sinister, purposeful reorganizing of their mind and their genetics to destroy and create a being that's unhappy at its core? They too need healing. Screw it. Let's get together with the apex predators and make a pact. I mean, if we're going to do this, we got to call everybody in the mix. What are we going to do? Just stay and just be victims of our own circumstances? Screw that. Like, I'm in it. I'm in it. I got babies, y'all. I got babies that I love. I'm in it for them. So if that's the selfishness of it, maybe that's my incentive, so be it. I'm in it for them. That's it. It is what it is. I'm calling for our Haitian family because you have the genetic code. That's why they're trying to destroy you. Our Haitian family, you got to pull out. Listen, the women of the Haitian, you have it in you. You have the cellular memories. They don't want you bringing that to us. They don't want you sharing that information. Y'all know the win. You won over these demons. That's why they were all contracting you. Colombia contracted you. Over in Venezuela, they contracted you. United Fakes contracted you because you won. They wanted to know how you won. That's why they're destroying your people. They don't want those babies having that cellular memory of the win, so they're going to keep giving losses I'm calling for the Haitian people that are here in the States. Gather together the way that your ancestors did. Call it a secret circle. Draw the information out of your genes. And then when you gain it, send it to us. Send the message via the owls or the birds or the crows or the water or the snakes. Carry that message and we'll get it, and we will do what you guys did. We will do what you did. We'll follow that. Whatever you did won. We will just do better so that we will make sure that this time we win and that we hold the protection around us during that win. It's done. They're bringing in sleeper cells into the country, y'all. They're coming in the droves. And I personally think that those coming into the borders, those are not just humanoids. Some of these are geoengineered hybrids. Some of these are robotoids. They bring in the smoke. What we gonna do? What we gonna do? You got babies here. You got children that look to you. F it. You hate me? Screw it. Show me how much you hate. Do something for your own lineage. I'm not saying you to do it for me. Do it for you. I may just be a messenger. You may not even like me. And that's okay. But do it for the babies. Screw Fleur-Brune. Do it for them. Because when your babies are safe, my babies are safe. When our children can ride a bike, walk down a road, listen to music, be free and clear without worry of a predator trying to kidnap them, rape them, take their organs, when we feel peaceful that we are living in a world that is a progenitor of healthiness and love, then I'm all good with that. However you do it. And we need to bring those in the fold that we basically kind of put on the outskirts. I'm not calling for war against the cartel. Listen to what I'm saying to you. I am seeing them as the sons of mothers. Maybe those men need the light. Maybe we can shine it on them. What doesn't matter if a few get taken out, but they need the light. They need a reminder of what they came from, of the love that they were progenerated from the birthing, from the wombs that they came from, that need them to be protectors and not the nefarious monsters. Instead of them creating drugs like narcotics, why don't we make them into drug dealers that are creating herbs and naturopathic medicine for us? Let them be the drug dealers that we need. Yes, grow the wonderful herbs and things that we desire for healing. Yes, I want them to be that. If they're going to be the cartels and drug dealers, yes, let it be for what we need. Let's put the money into that, because they're only doing it because they get money from that. Let's incentivize them having the resources and money so that they can now be enlightened and do things in righteousness so that their souls can actually feel free and clear. What about them? That's what I'm saying. Like when the jungles, when you go into Brazil and you see these men, and I've seen them, I see sons. I see the sons of mothers who love those baby boys. Wherever they came from, however they ended up in that direction, they came from some form of love and union. Let's take away the incentivizing of the things that they created in order to survive and give them a new form of creation. Grow the very herbs and let them get paid as much with the things and tinctures we need for healing. Let the price of a child's organ be replaced with the child's life. Let's incentivize them to save the babies instead of to sell the babies. Sometimes we have to speak to humanity in people and not to the villain, because the villain is the villain for a reason, and the villain has a cold, kind of closed off place. Let's speak to the humanity in those males and those people. Let's speak to, because someone in their life they love. You can't tell me with the cartels that they don't love someone. So they love someone, and some of them have children. Let's speak to the humanity in them and speak to them spiritually, to allow that revelation to come about. we can't keep fighting with one another. It's not gonna, it's gonna be a merry-go-round. These demons right now are sending the League of Doom to every single terrain we know. Every landmass they are perpetrating. You're in Europe. They're sending leagues of doom. You hear the dogs? That's okay. That's the message. I'm ready for it, y'all. I told you I'm creating an army. And I told you I'm very serious about that. We're going to have to lead with our hearts. We're going to have to. It's necessary. The dogs are probably seeing things coming because, you know, this message isn't being well taken. You know, whenever it's coming from a space of like, whenever some message is coming and the dark Kabbalists know it, they can feel it. Because the win has already happened. Why do you think they attack so vehemently? They will send everyone. They already feel it because we're already there. So please, you know, don't disregard my tears, but understand that my tears are coming from a space of just my compassion and my love for those who are part of us. And five. Hold on. You hear 5? You hear the doggies? No. Okay? No, out there. No, don't do that, okay? All right, y'all. I hope this message was well received. I apologize for the crying. I wish I could just take that part out of the video. I gotta find a way to like edit these videos. I don't want you to feel sorry for me. I'm fine. I get a little, the message from the pine tree was so strong. And then my feeling of sadness or just vulnerability because of the tree that I lost. And I know I didn't lose her. I feel away. I still feel like I feel sad still. I'm still mourning her. I don't like to think about it because, you see, I get really emotional. So it's hard to feel that and having a reaction to that feeling. So if you love someone in your life, especially the A's, like why I really call for the A's is because you have such that connection. They listen to you. The A's listen to you. I mean, the A's, the trees love you and they listen to you. They've known you for so much longer. The connectivity to you guys is so strong. So I asked for the A's because the A's, you have a better telecommunication. 5. You have a better telecommunication with the plants and the animals and with the trees. You do. You have that. Whether you're A negative or positive, you do, because those trees some of them came with you. Some of those plants came with you when you came to this firmament. And for those who are A's, those plants, your ancestors, you have a great connection. You lived amongst the trees. You guys used to live in the trees. 5. 5 is outside. 5. Sorry. No. You know, no. You know which. Okay? Be good. Yeah, it's just, I thought about it. I was like, you know, when you think about something all day and I'm like, okay, where is there to run to? Everywhere you run there's going to be the same issue. It's going to be an issue. Regardless of where you go, wherever I'm going to be, my sanctuary, I have my sanctuary, it's still going to be an issue. It has to be confronted. It's almost like, you know, when they say you keep running and running, but basically the running is like, eventually you're going to have to confront the boogeyman. Eventually you have to confront him and say, listen, mother freaker, it is what it is. Like, let's get it. spiritually, what have you, let's get it. Because you clowns, you Willy Wonka system, you just keep doing so much because we aren't connected, we aren't working together. And they love the adversity. They love that men don't support women, women don't support men. They love this whole agenda of separation. And I've been all a party to it. So I am a product of it as well. I do not take zero responsibility. I take my responsibility in separatism. I'm just as responsible. Let me say it here to you. I am responsible for some of the separatist type of motions, and I am sorry. I realize my part in it, and it is what it is. I can only acknowledge it and work on that and start to do things with alignment with everyone. We have to have a common goal. So I'm asking for those who are part of the spiritualist, who have the groups, and it doesn't matter, numbers mean absolutely zero. Us and the Zombies will work as a collective and we'll do our part. I love Zombies. Big up to the Zombies who join me. We'll do our part together. I feel it in my soul. It's getting close right now to the super duper war that they're going to bring, but we don't have to participate. There isn't any victimhood here. We were built to last. Like, just even in this awareness, we were built to be able to do what's necessary to overcome these motherfreakers. There's not a lot of them, y'all, and a lot of what they're using is technology. Technology has a flaw. Okay? Technology has a flaw. It's just like, common humans have their vulnerabilities. AI has vulnerabilities too. They can't deal with water. They have an issue with water. Okay, so bring in rain and interruption into their AI field. They can only have clear waves of radiation if there isn't any water around. That's why they like to purposefully draw storms in certain areas and keep other places dry. Wherever it's dry, it's most likely where they set up shop. They don't like water, okay? They don't like trees because trees block their waves, their radio waves. Water and trees. So those are the things that they have the biggest issues with. And that's why they really try their hardest to kind of like set that up. Hold on, y'all. I'm trying to fix this. Okay, sorry. Hold on. It's my wipes. Okay. Okay, I think it's good. No, I appreciate it. I just I don't know if I'm gonna leave this. I gotta leave this up because I promised that to the trees I would make this message. I just wish I wasn't so emotional sometimes. Sometimes I'm non-emotional and then other times I'm really emotional. You know what I mean? I try to control it though, but sometimes just things make you sad and it's hard to, it's like I don't edit videos. I don't really hide things too well. So, it's kind of like you get me raw. At least you won't ever complain that I'm an artificial intelligence, because the things that I do and say are just so organic because it's just how I feel. So we're gonna figure out a way to really do this, y'all. I mean, I just feel like It is what it is. There isn't anything that we aren't victims here. We're set up to be able to deal with everything, zombies, everything. I mean, I just think that it's easier for us to be picked off or attacked if we're separated. Like, you know, I know you guys get on me for listening to Alex Jones, but I do. I listen to him. And yeah, he could seem like a bit of an alarmist, but he really just, I can just see him as an entity that has done this for a long time. And he's just kind of like, he's sharing the things that we need to hear. And I think there's certain whistleblowers that are just there for that. But it's time. I just, you know, I thought about it today. The pine was talking to me and I was like, thinking to myself, like, I left Florida, right? I stayed in Florida since many of you know, I was in Florida since 2011, right? My little ones were little. And I had an amazing life in Florida. And then I made a decision to move. And one of the decisions that I made, I didn't move for the longest time because of my tree. I know that seems silly, and many people made jokes about it that I knew, because they thought it was kind of silly that I would base my decision to leave my home based on my tree. But I felt like once I left, they were going to attack her because she had done so much protection. I mean, many of you saw my Harry Potter tree, right? She would uproot and look towards the road, and then she would uproot and turn this way. I just stayed because of that. And I, for a long time, I just felt like, okay, maybe they're right. Maybe I'm ODing and she'll be fine. And as soon as I left, they killed her. They killed all of the trees around my house. They killed every single tree. Every tree around my house. Even the babies that I grew, they killed them. So I was so hurt and so traumatized. It traumatized me. And the bastards they're so cruel. They had the audacity to send me the pictures of my house without my trees, as if that would be something just to hurt me, to break my heart. Because, you break your heart, it breaks your spirit. Oof, I'm not going to do it. 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 Oh God, here it comes again. I'm sorry. Oh, I kind of cleaned myself up just to get it cry. It's terrible. It's terrible. They didn't have to kill her. They didn't have to kill her. They murdered her. Okay, y'all. I can't. Ugh. I hate coming on here doing this. I can't. She was my best friend. My babies used to put like a little house for the fairies underneath. They didn't have to kill her. They did it purposefully. They did it to hurt me. They did it to hurt me and break my heart. And it did. And when they did it, it hurt me. And it caused me to get sick because I was so heartbroken. It's like a family member. And they do this all the time. They kill her. It's so cruel. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, y'all. This is what's today? Thursday? It's Jupiter Day. I shouldn't feel like this. I can't talk about her without crying. And I know I spoke to the tree outside, and they make it seem like she can't really die, but it's too much. It's too much. Sometimes it's too much to bear. And there were other things that died too. So it's just heartbreaking because I feel it's all interconnected. But it is what it is. Yeah. I'm sorry. I can plant more trees. Fi. Fi. Sorry, Fi's outside. She likes to dig. Fi likes to dig holes in my yard. I'm just trying to get it together, y'all. I can plant more trees. I can. We have to plant them where they're safe though, because I just feel like they try to hurt them. We have to plant them somewhere and protect them. So when we plant the trees, we have to put like protection around them, because they hurt the trees. And then, you know, if we plant them, I want to make sure that they're safe. The babies are safe, you know. Sorry, y'all. Let's plant more trees, yeah. Like Groot, right? Remember in the movie Groot? What was it, Groot? Like, remember they killed Groot? I forgot which one they killed Groot, right? What was it in which one? They took Groot out, and then Groot came back, right? And he came back in a baby form, you know? All right, y'all. I'm a big baby. Oh my God, could you imagine I'm some baby, I'm children's mother, and I cry like that? I always think for as strong as I am, I'm really not that strong. When it comes to things like that, like losing babies or losing the tree family or losing anything, because I take things so it's in my heart. So I have to try to, I don't want to try to mute it, but sometimes I just get over emotional when it comes to that. Oh, Groot dies in Guardians of the Galaxy 1, yeah. And then he comes back, right? Yeah. I want to plant more trees. I want to make sure they're safe, though. Like I said, I think we should all do that. Because they're just cutting and burning all the trees. They're doing it everywhere. So I think we should maybe do that somewhere where we know they can't mess with them, where they could be safe so they can grow big and strong, you know? Oh, they took a branch of him and replanted him. I have her acorns, y'all. I forgot about that. I have her acorns. You know what? I remember that. I kept acorns from the tree. So thank you for reminding me. Thank you for reminding me. Thank you for that. I forgot. I have her acorns. Whoever said that, I just didn't realize that. I do. I can't, because remember I collect all the babies. I'm, you know. So I'll replant her. Wow. What a wonderful reminder. Thank you. I will. I'll plant her. I have her babies. Oh my God. That made me feel so much happiness. Thank you. Oh my God. Wow. I totally forgot until you said that. I have her babies. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. All of you who said thank you so much. You know, when you have, like, I used to tell my little girls, like, you made my heart smile. Like, as soon as you said that, I felt it, and you made my heart smile. So gratitude to you. I'm so grateful you said that. Sometimes it's like hearing, that's why sometimes I come on here, and as much as you think I give to you, all of you give to me. You do. You absolutely give to me. If I don't tell you that, you do. I wouldn't be on YouTube getting abused by Willy Wonka, because I feel like connecting to a lot of you, to me, is totally worth it. Yeah, I came onto YouTube 2011. You know, I'm from the sector of the UFOs. Some of you are coming from other sectors, so you don't know that it's my sector. But you make me grow. You call me out. You do call me out sometimes, and I'm appreciative. You call me out. You make me better. Many of you make me better, so I'm thankful. So thank you. So if you think that I don't give you enough appreciation, I want to tell you that y'all have kept me afloat in many ways, just because I felt like there was a community that connected, and we may not know each other, but it's just like I felt connected. So thank you. I feel better. So anyway, I'm gonna have to, you think I should keep the video up? I don't want to keep the video up with me crying. Hold on. Okay. I'm better now. I'm better. You don't have tissue. No, you don't have tissue. I'm using the same tissue for my nose. I don't want to blow my nose in front of you. Okay. You know when it's organic and I just like sniffling? Okay. I mean, I'll keep the video up. I just hate when they make videos calling me a crybaby. You know what I mean? I do have a little ego. They're like, Flurbur's a crybaby. She's so fake. She's artificial. She's like a plant. By the CIA. Let me tell you, the CIA and the FBI would never hire someone like me. Because I would destroy everything. I remember, I don't think anybody thinks that anymore, but I'm just, when people would say things like if they first come to me, they'd be like, she works for the CIA. I was like, the CIA, the FBI, the government, they don't want someone, because I'm off the rip. You know what I mean? I would have some sort of revelation. I'd destroy everything. So I'm just saying, if you ever thought that, there isn't anybody puppeting me, because I wouldn't be making videos like this. You know what I mean? It wouldn't happen. I'm not as, for them to hire someone, they need someone who like stays inside the box, and I'm well outside the perimeters of the ice walls. You know what I mean? But anyway, y'all, we're at war. We're at war, y'all. I'll probably make because I'm being as careful as I can, because I'll make a rant on Rumble, and that's more raw. We're at war. We're in a war, y'all. Remember the flag that was held upside down at the White House? If you didn't know, there was a flag held upside down in the White House. That was not too long ago, and they took it down. We're at war. There isn't anything other than us just preparing ourselves. And I thought to myself, like, I feel it. I'm like, I gotta go warrior, like balls to the wall. I got my cubs. I'm trying to set up shop. I'm trying to just build up. We're at war. And these motherfreakers need to know that we aren't punks. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying. If you got a gathering of women, men, come together. Because remember, one thing I know, it's kind of like the Dark Crystal. In the Dark Crystal, they went into the Dream Fast, right? It was called the Dream Fast, I think. The Dark Crystal, the series, they went into a Dream Fast. And in the Dream Fast, they were able to communicate with one another without the Skeksis knowing, right? So they are only able to get access. That's why it's very important for us to keep our cell phones and things away from our head when we sleep. Because they want to get inside of your head to access the other worlds that we go into. So it's important for us to know that in this type of war, they're only as good as their technology. And their technology is really just based in like the physical. Now, the occultists that they contract, like all of the Satanists that they contract under them, those are the ones who they contract to do the spiritual war. That's why they do all these occult rituals. So they're working in sync. So they're working on the physical realm with AI, and they're working on the physical realm, and then they contract these psychopathic maniacs to work on the spiritual realm. But because these occultists are only limited to a certain space, like they do child sacrificing, that's their go-to because they're weak. They need to use an outside energetic force to be able to create anything. They're weak. Weak beings have to kill other things to use their energy because they don't have enough. That's how you know they're weak. Strong, powerful beings are able to source their own energy because they have a huge amount of energy within themselves. That's why they try to make sure they zap your energy with your cell phones, with the nanotechnology. They try to do it, but we needn't have to take anything out. We can source from ourselves. That's why it's good to keep healthy and utilize your biodome to be able to source it and get together with others who have that powerful energy. and take that energy and use it in a coven or in a group and be able to shoot it out. And we need to direct, you know, they have directed energy weapons. Why aren't we using our direct energy weapons, our spiritual direct energy weapons? I thought about it the other day. I was like, they're using their energy weapons. God darn it. If you get a group of people and you take that directed energy weapon and you throw it out there at anything that matches, that's low vibrational, we could take a lot of these suckers out because a lot of them are low. They're just parasites, like vampires that have to hide in the dark, like, you know, like roaches. They're like roaches, like running behind the walls. You know, you only see them when you turn on the light real quick. They're like roaches. So what if you build your little circles in the forest? Because remember, the forest, they can't really follow you. And that's why they put these apex predators in there. So you have to put a protection around you from them too, because they're just, you know, they're basically hybrids of some sort. And sit there and build huge amount of energy and field it in, like in the show Wheels of Time. Do you remember that scene in Wheels of Time? Anybody watch it? In Wheels of Time, the last scene of the last episode of last season, when the women came together and they used the one strongest as source, and she sourced all the other witches to be able to fight those monsters. Remember that? They all drew in, used her as their pinnacle force, and just shot it out and killed all of those diabolicals. So what if we do that? What if we take our energy and we don't have to do anything other than shoot it out so that it only hits what's low? So it will only hit the things that are really, really low. So you come together in a collective, utilize their occult holidays, and you know, October's coming, and the real Lionsgate, we should probably do this on the 8th, because those bastards like to utilize certain days. The 8th, right? So the 8th is 8 is the infinity day, but 8 Oc is 8. You think it's 10, but October is 8. So the real Lionsgate is actually on 8/8. Why not sit in the forest or the jungle or by the water and basically feel the energy and clear your energies before, so you have as much energy? Just make sure you aren't eating, like, you know, dead flesh that's harmful to animals, because you want to have clear energy. Maybe fast for a couple days, then come together, sit a couple of sea stars, sit together on a beach in a circle, sun stars sit together inside of a forest, sit in pinnacle places wherever you are on the 8/8, and basically concentrate, hold your hands together, field in the energy, and shoot it out in the stratosphere, and make the target anything that's low vibrational, anything that's harmful to children or hurts animals or hurts the trees. Shoot it out. You don't have to direct it at anything. It will hit anything that's low vibrational. Let's try that. I understand why they attack my channel. Because I'm reckless. Yeah, let's try that. They have direct energy weapons. Why can't we use it too? We'll use it in a spiritual sense. 8/8. Sit down, whatever day you want. It doesn't even matter. I just gave a date because maybe it's clearer on that day. I'm just saying, sit down in a concentrated, uniformed, make sure it's a good amount of people. It doesn't have to be a lot. Sit together in unison. This is what our ancestors used to do. Plot and plan to go out into nature and the elements. Doesn't matter if it's a storm or anything, because they're going to bring whatever it is to try to deter us. And just basically sit as a unified physical form and basically concentrate and send all that energy out into the stratosphere and make it directed towards anything that hurts children, that hurts trees, that kills off things without justification. Shoot it out in the stratosphere. You want to put out energy weapons and hurt our tree family? Then we got our own. Screw them. I mean, if we're gonna go, screw it. They're sending the Borgs. We probably should hit the Borgs too. They send out energy weapons. We have to give it back. We do the backlash. You mess with our trees, we mess with you. You mess with the babies, we mess with you. We're gonna make everything that you do have a consequence. So you're gonna be deterred to doing anything because you're gonna get a backlash. Screw that. Why we have to wait around for anything? We can be the change we want to be. We could be the same way. Not the same way in a negative way, but basically, listen, I mean, why aren't they getting a counter? They need to get a counter. You want to throw targets and you want to hurt people with shots and you want to hurt babies and you want to harvest organs, well, God darn it, we gonna take that energy and we gonna focus it, and let's see if there won't be anywhere you can hide. As soon as they get a couple hits, we'll know. Let them scatter like roaches. And when they start scattering, then you can pick them off energetically with your mind. Any person that rapes children will get it. If you like to rape children and hurt babies and harvest organs, this energy weapon that comes from the etheric, from the energy within the biosphere, that sucker will come for you and yours. We got to do it. I just thought about it. It's just, there isn't any more running. Why are we running? Where are we running to? It doesn't matter. Wherever we are, we're going to have to fight. And it's better we fight in the way that we know, and we know is purposeful. And we got to use a lot of what we know. Like, we've gained all this wisdom. What's the point of knowing it and not acting on it? Like, why not? What would be the point of gaining all this wisdom and having zero action in it? Sagittarius, we're all about the action. I can learn it. I could read it. I could figure it out. I could hear it shared, but it isn't real until you use what you've learned. Make it action oriented. The Haitians taught us, and they use magic and smarts. We use both. And just like they have cell phones, why aren't we using our cell phones against them? Like, if you want to send pulse waves, why don't we take our cell phones and focus it and take the very radiation that they're sending and focus that radiation right on these bastards? Let's take the technology that they use and let's use it back on them. Let's take it and put focused energy on our technology and have that sucker shoot out into the stratosphere. Maybe they won't want to make radiation phones anymore when we start using that radiation against them and theirs. Let our phones be the wands. You know, the wands that they killed our trees with, the wooden wands that they basically say you can use magic with, the Hollywood, right? Why don't we take away using the wooden wands and let's use the cell phones that we have, put focused energy and make it destroy anything that's low vibration. Let's program our phones to destroy all low vibrational things. Let's be action oriented. I'm not going to just talk about it. Let's be about it. Let's take our goddamn phones, our 5G phones that they made to radiate us, and take that focus energy, wrap that sucker up, put that focus energy so that it basically is used like the wand. We're going to take the wands because they use our ancestors' wands, the bones of our ancestors in the wood, right? So let's take the technology that they created and let's use that sucker against them. Instead of being victims of their technology, let's take they reverse technology all the time. Why don't we do the same? Take the very thing that they use against us and focus it on them. You want to create all these cell phones? You want to weaponize the cell phones? Well, God darn it, I'm going to reverse engineer my cell phone to go for you and yours. And because you created it, it will go to the creator. Let's take our cell phones and make it go back to where it started. So basically, we tell the cell phone and we program the cell phone to go back to where you started. Whatever created you, hit that sucker right there. It's too much. They've done too much. They get away with it. Screw that. We need to use our cell phones in the way that they use it against us. Let's take the Wi-Fi in our house and put the sucker and have that energy, because it's energy. Energy doesn't really have a target unless it's being programmed to do so. So if it's being programmed to hurt us, why won't we use the technology and reverse engineer it to utilize our technology to do what they're doing to us? So basically, if you're not doing anything, Willy Wonka, you don't have anything to worry about. But I'm going to put the focus of whatever energy and whatever radiation you have on this device, and I'm going to focus it on you. So whatever you put out, you're going to get back. Ricochet this motherfreaker. Do like a boomerang in these bastards. Wi-Fi. I never thought about it. Thank you for brainstorming with me, y'all. This is why they don't want us coming together. This is probably why they try to shut off all my videos. Let's take our energy. I have my magic wand. It's called the iPhone, okay? And because it's an iPhone, I can take the I and I'm going to focus it, and I'm going to use my cell phone now. Now my cell phone, I've decided to rebuke being a victim of my cell phone and my technology. Now I will use the technology in my house to basically use as a tractor beam and to focus on anything that's low vibrational. So any mofo that's raping children, killing women and families, and harming beings that are pure and helpless, and hurting trees and burning them, we are going to send our focus energy, the same radionic energy, their tractor beam that they send to destroy our trees, we will send that sucker right back. Don't we live in duality? Within the realm of duality and polarities, we have the right to protect ourselves and those we love. So why not use this is my magic wand. My magic wand is my cell phone, and my cell phone will now be used as a protector and as a tractor beam to destroy and dismantle anything that's lower vibrational. I'm reverse engineering with thought, and I'm going to create a way to do it physically. All right, y'all? We've got our plan. We are going to go and gather together in the forests and the waterways, go into the lakes, the streams, the oceans, together on the 8-8, go into the forest, the jungle, into the wonderful hills, and we're going to focus our energy, our magic wands, because they like to use our ancestors for abusing and take pieces of their limb and use it. We're going to use their technology, and we're going to focus that sucker, and y'all are going to pay. For you killing my tree, you're going to pay. They say an eye for an eye. Well, God darn it, a branch for a branch. If we're going to leave this planet, God, we should just freaking take, the song, the roof is on fire. We don't give up. Let the you want to burn things up? Then you like fire, right? Pyromaniacs, right? You like to burn things. You like to burn trees, don't you? Let's see how you like to be flamed up. Let's see how you feel when you're getting hot. Okay? You like heat? We're going to bring some heat. You hurt our trees? Well, God darn it. Mother freaker, let's boomerang that sucker right back to you. You hurt one of ours. For every tree you harm, for every animal you've hurt, for every life that you've taken in dismay and harm and made them destroy. We have technology, and you gave it to us. Thank you. You know what? Thank you, Willy Wonka, for creating technology that I can use to destroy you and your disgusting AI system. Thank you. Matter of fact, I'm gonna set my iPhone and all my phones to destroy all your robotoids that are coming over here. Matter of fact, thank you for giving me the technology. I didn't realize at a time that I had the actual weapon of mass destruction in the technology you created. I thought I was a victim, but gosh darn it, thank you for making me cry and for me crying and coming to the realization that I haven't been a victim, that I always had the tools necessary to destroy your wicked ways. I'm going to walk with my cell phone with such pride, and you better not send something October 4th, because you're going to get it. Matter of fact, October 4th, I won't be turning off my phone. I'm going to be focusing my phone on you and yours. Try me. Try me. So when you send that frequency, I'm going to have that sucker reversed engineered right back to you. Return to sender. Oh, I love it. I love it. This is masterful. It's the trees are like working. It's the concentrated community we have here, and it's inside of us. So it's like this information is being nicely uploaded into our bodies. I could feel the empowerment. Like, we aren't victims. I cried because I felt a certain way, but I have everything I need. And I have my babies, her babies. So I in my unawareness, I kept her babies. So thank you for that. And right now we're going to be using the technology they created against them. I have a magic wand too, and it's my cell phone. Thank you, Willy Wonka. I appreciate it. And I will be uploading all of the Haitians intel. So please, our Haitian family, please, the gathering of the women, please sit together and gather, and I will be receptive to picking up the information of the win. Okay? I'll be taking the data and the blueprint of the win so that I will be able to upload that and give it to my people as well. Thank you, Haitian people. I want to thank the Haitian people for giving us the tools necessary, because we won this war already. We about to show them what this is about. You creating hell for Haiti, right? Because you know that's the one place you don't want us to contact or to be in contact with. No. You're confused. Some of us aren't afraid of Haitians. Some of us aren't buying into the lie that these people are savages and hurt, because you've done things to destroy that island and the people so that the memory and the win isn't inside of them, or it isn't able to be accessed. Well, gosh darn it, you didn't get all the Haitians. You didn't get all of them. And guess what? We got some of them here. Yeah, Willy Wonka. Okay? Just like you have a whole league of roaches behind the wall, we got our own people too. Okay? And I'm giving you notice. This is our notice that everything that you've done is illuminated. And if it was something that you didn't want coming back, you shouldn't worry about it. But I'm returning every bit of what you sent me and mine and those who I'm aligned with back to you. So if it wasn't negative, you don't have to worry. I won't do anything harmful. I'm just going to send you back what you sent me. I'm just giving you back the same energy. That's okay, right? You okay with that? Okay? And the beautiful cell phone, thank you. I wouldn't have had the chance to create this kind of technology, but now that I know that you're sending nefarious low field radiation energy towards me, I appreciate the fact that you've allowed me to utilize the same technology that you're doing to hurt me and mine. So I'm going to use it and send exactly the same message you sent back to me. If you didn't do anything wrong, it shouldn't matter, right? Right? Why should it matter? Why wouldn't we think that we had the ability to overcome these bastards? I think I was weak in thinking that you had more power than you do. Well, now I realize you have very little power. You have very little control. That's why you have to hide your hands. That's why basically you have to shift around and do occult rituals and multiple things to be able to try to deal with us. But that's because we're all separated. But what if we came together? What if the bloodlines of Scotland merge with the bloodlines of Jamaica? What if the bloodlines of Ireland merge with the bloodlines of Cuba? What if the bloodlines of Africa, of Ghana and Sierra Leone merge with the bloodlines of Haiti? What if all of these different bloodlines that we have here in this group, Brazil, Chile, Argentina, Venezuela, Panama, Costa Rica, Honduras, Mexico, United States, Jersey, New York, Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi, Massachusetts, Vermont, Nebraska, Wisconsin, Colorado, Texas, Florida. What about France, Spain, Greece, Turkey, England, Germany, Bulgaria, Russia, China, Vietnam, Thailand, Cambodia, Japan, North Korea, South Korea? What if we all came together? What happens to you if we all decide to work on one accord, Indiana, to focus our energy and return Israel, and return what you have sent to us back to you. Look at all these beautiful people in here. You think we don't have the power, Willy Wonka? I'm sick of you. I'm sick of you and your low-feel, diabolical, bloodthirsty, vampiric, low vibrational, dirty, disgusting, deprived, perverted, savage bloodlines. You've existed here too long. We're at reset. We have the ability to take everything that you sent to us and ours and return to sender. Yeah, that's it, y'all. We're ready. I'm grateful. Maybe the tears and the emotions had to bring this out, but now I realize we aren't victims. I'm calling for everyone, for the army that we created, everyone on 8/8 to sit together in groups and in secret. You don't even have to sit in secret because we're not them. We can actually sit in the open. Go to the fields, the forests, the oceans, the lakes, the streams, the waterfalls. Go to the farms. Go to open places, the jungle, and sit in your groups together and focus your energy using the technology we call the cell phone, and put the focus energy and send everything back to them. We are now returning whatever you sent to us right back to you. We aren't having to run anymore. We were backed against the wall. You sending your bioborgs, and all your bioborgs, anything connected to you that's low vibrational, will be reprogrammed and working on our behalf. Okay? Just like you took that plane and you took over its piloting and took the plane over, we're going to take over all your technology. We are the virus that you are going to be afraid of. Okay? You like to send viruses? Well, you know, a virus to one could be a virus to somebody else, could be a virus to you. We're going to take over your technology. Okay? For every time you hurt a child, for every time you harvest organs, for every time you hurt animals or land or terrain and hurt families, you are going to get it right back. I curse all of you Willy Wonkas who are doing harm to this planet, this place that we call our space that we live. I'm sending the curse. I'm cursing at those Willy Wonkas, and I'm sending everything back to you. If it was fine and healthy and it didn't do anything wrong, what does it matter? If it's good energy, it's going to come back to you better. Okay? But if you were sending anything less than noble or healthy or anything less than righteous, you're going to get it right back. It won't even, I won't be sending any negative energy. I'm just sending back what you sent me. Okay? Whatever you did to my tree, I'm going to send it right back to you. However she felt, what you did to her, let me extend that back to you and yours. Okay? Let me know how you feel. All right, y'all. Thank you. I'm grateful you came here. I guess I can leave the video up. I don't want to cry on the video. These are like the videos. I love the video because we were empowered, but I wish that I hadn't been crying and bawling on the video. So maybe I should just leave it up. It doesn't matter, right? Screw it. It's real. It is what it is. Okay. So, I wish everybody well. I hope this was helpful. Again, I apologize for being so emotional, but it is what it is. I'm still organic. Gratefully, I am. So let's turn everything into our favor, and let's take everything back. And there isn't anything that they are doing to us that isn't something that we could send back. So return to sender, y'all. Return everything back. And we aren't doing anything negative because it's unnecessary. All we're doing is returning the energy back to them. Okay, that's it. If there wasn't anything negative sent, then they have nothing to worry about. but they should be able to eat from the plate that they serve to us. All right, y'all. So I wish everybody well. Having a magnificent day. Thank you. I want to thank thank you for being so gracious, and thank you for being patient with me. Thank you for supporting me. Thank you. Listen, I appreciate it. If I don't tell you enough, I really appreciate your support, your connection, for you being a party to me over the years in every way that I show up. You and really just being a wonderful source of support. I thank you. I've been on a long time, and I feel it, and I acknowledge it. And thank you also for telling me that I can plant her babies, the babies of the tree that they hurt. I can do that. Thank you for reminding me. All right. So y'all have a magnificent day. I may have a coffee today. I may have a coffee, y'all. I feel for one. Just something organic though. Okay. I love you. Thank you. Peace.